I swap? Maybe I swap with a shield? I don't know. Okay. We catch. The crest. Dirge would be a little bit annoying. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Maybe I should have gone for the drill one. I don't know. 4. Let's just force them to throw their energy, I guess. 5, 6. Oh, I messed up! What am I doing? They're gonna shadow ball my Trevenants! I messed up big time. 8, 9, 10, 11. They're debuffed. Do I live this? I need to live this. Oh gosh, what am I doing? I should run the Trevenant at least. I mean, I was going to get one shot either way, but... Oh, we live. Oh, we live. Oh my gosh. I was misplayed that out of my mind. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Something that's really caught my attention in Great League is Shadow SABLYE. It's been pretty successful on even a few regional teams in the official competitive circuit, so definitely want to see how it felt in Great League. And I happen to have a pretty decent Shadow SABLYE built already, so I decided to give it a shot with a Dugong and a Trevenant in the back. Trevenant also feels like a pretty solid core breaker for a lot of teams, a lot of fighter, lantern combinations and stuff like that, and Trevenant might be pretty good, especially in still a fairly water-heavy meta. If you don't have a Shadow SABLYE, you can definitely run the Purified one with Return, or even non-Purified with Power Gem. Personally speaking, I think if you're not going to run the Shadow SABLYE, it's better to run a Purified one with Return if you have that option. Otherwise, you could just run a Power Gem one. I played this team for 3 straight sets in this video, so let's take a look at how it went. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. Starting things off, we have a Shadow Gligar in the lead against Dugong, so that's fantastic for me. They come in with their own Dugong, and this is a little bit weird because honestly their Dugong's pretty strong into my whole backline as well, but I definitely need to save my Dugong for the Gligar if possible. So I'm just going to go for a debuff, probably drop a Drill Run on it before I go, just so I put it in a manageable foul play range for my Shadow SABLYE. Maybe even absorb the energy here. And the thing is, if I swap in my SABLYE, it's okay if they pivot out, because honestly, at that point, the Gligar is going to have to take a decent amount of damage from my SABLYE. So it's not the worst situation. But yeah, I don't really have the clearest answer to Dugong. Something you'll see me make a mistake on later in these videos is I go Power Gem instead of Foul Play in neutral situations. Foul Play is just better overall, just does more damage, even if it costs less energy. In those neutral situations, especially because same type attack bonus, this opponent just lets everything go. So this is pretty good for me, all things considered. I still get the Drill Run off, which is nice. But yeah, Shadow SABLYE hits fairly hard, and they have a Bastion on the back, which typically is kind of annoying for my team, but with this much of a shield advantage and Pokemon advantage, I should be in pretty good spots. I think they have to go straight Smackdowns to try to take me out, which makes sense because they're just not going to get to 3 Stone Edge, but they realize that it's a little bit harder of a task. So we're going to win that one. We got a fantastic lead back-to-back, which is quite nice. But in all likelihood, they have something a little bit different. And here is a Nihilape. Something I like to do is bring in the Shadow SABLYE. The Shadow Claw damage really chews through the Nihilape. And the thing is, you know, Night Slash is not that threatening, whereas Night Slash is pretty threatening to the Trevenants. So, yeah, opponent doesn't throw another move for some reason. So that's pretty good for us. And then we have a lot of energy, and they just quit out. So, again, Shadow SABLYE looking pretty good. But here's the downside. It's definitely a little bit more frail, and we're going to see it just play out in this Charjabug matchup. Charjabug definitely one of the bulkier Pokemon, especially electric types. When it comes to both electric and bug, in my opinion. So we're just going to go straight foul play. Obviously, you want to bait the power gem so that they could potentially shield. But yeah, so you can see I'm always throwing when I have the power gem, but I still go straight foul play. But you can see we just get outpaced a little bit here and can't actually land another foul play. So this is definitely one of the downsides of Shadow Sableye. Just can't really take a move. Yeah. This is not the best situation for me. I do go for aggressive farm down all the way, and then they actually have a Bombstone in the back. Not amazing for me, but let's see what we can do. We do a decent amount of damage. I leave with energy, but then they have the Annihilate. So arguably, maybe I could have just taken out the Bombstone with a Trevenant and then start Shadow Clawing the Annihilate and then put in like double icy wind range. I don't know. It would have been tough. Annihilate gets a pretty strong counter down on my Dugong, and this Bombstone's just not in Shadow Claw range, and they have the move, so it did not work out so well. But that's all good. Definitely one of the. It's good to know what the downsides are of Shadow Sableye in that situation. You just get outbulked in some situations, especially in the 2-shield scenario. All right, Shadow Alolan Sandslash, kind of slightly ABA weak to it. Dugong's not terrible into it though, so if I could land a drill run, pretty good. If I could grab shields, not bad either, but landing the move is much more impactful, and we do land it. And then now they come in with the Mantine, which I'm not going to shield because it was a pretty obvious area waste. I had the chance to go Power Gem. I think I overfarmed a little bit. I probably should have thrown the Power Gem or thrown something before they threw. But at this point in time, I'm just going to throw the Foul Play. Foul Play does a decent amount of damage, as you can see, so no Power Gem needed, honestly, and I get even more energy out of it, which is even better. And let's see what they have in the back. So they come in with Annihilate. Not a great matchup. It's a lot of energy they have to eat, and at this point, I just save my energy for the Alolan Sandslash. But they go straight for the Night Slash, and I could just spray my Shadow Claw all the way down at this point. I don't even need to throw moves. So that's what I'm going to do. And we get the Shadow Call down, and now the Shadow Call down, or they're just going to quit out. Vigoroth. Kind of annoying for the team as well. Resist all this ghost damage from the Shadow Claws of the Shadow Sableye and the Trevenants. Obviously super effective moves against the Dugong. It's not the best situation, but the good news is we can shield the Rock Slide. Rock Slide's slightly slower pacing than the Foul Play. However, they're ahead by a turn, so they're going to get to the Rock Slide a little bit earlier, or at the same time, I should say, against Sableye at first, and then subsequent Rock Slide still going to be ahead. Actually, yeah, it's going to be ahead, obviously, because they just got to it. But we go down by all shields at this point, and I'm thinking, kind of a tough situation. Trevenant farming this down could be pretty good, though. And we get the full Shadow Call down, and usually this energy is pretty impactful outside of against certain dark types. And ends up being Shadow Gligar. This does a decent amount of damage, and then they swap into Cresselia. I think they were anticipating me bringing in the Dugong, so they want to just like swap at the same time I potentially would swap, but instead I didn't swap. So this is actually pretty disastrous for them. They do have the Future Sight, which is nice, but I think at that point they realized they lost. And we went 4-1, so not too bad. The only game we lost was against that Charjabug lead. So pretty good. I mean, we did get some pretty solid leads too. Speaking of solid leads, this is a pretty nice lead for sure. And they come in Skarmory. Now, here's the thing. Yes, Shadow Sableye a little bit on the frail end, but if you have shields up against the Skarmory, you can counter swap it and still win because you outpace. You get to the Foul Play way faster than them, even if you're counter swapping. Even I was kind of slow on it. I was like a little bit late, all things considered. But yeah, and then we throw on Charge Attack Priority. They shields. We just match shields. Yes, we have to go down shield, but honestly, maintaining that switch advantage is very, very nice for me. Might be able to get the Power Gem off, and I don't. So that might be greedy, and it might come back to hurt me. But we, so far, have a fantastic backline. So pretty good, all things considered. Like I said, Trevenant, pretty strong in this current meta, I think, in a lot of situations. A lot harder to run in Show 6, but GBL, different story, especially with all the random waters. Hide in the back, occasional fighters, once in a while a Regiseal. Pretty unlikely you see a Regiseal, but if you do, Trevenant is going to thrive there for sure. I think I saw a few Galarian Stunfisk too while I was running this team, which is kind of wild. Because at the time when I was playing this team, this was fairly high ELO. It was just under 3k. Obviously, these aren't very recent battles. You can see some big names like Palasha here. And Shadow Magnezone, fantastically terrible for me. I even overtap. I meant to swap right away, but I accidentally throw an Ice Shard first. Definitely don't recommend doing that. Get baited with Mirror Shot. I think I got, my attack dropped as well, which is unfortunate. But this is not the end of the world. My energy is still going to be fairly threatening from the Dugong, so not too bad. I do get hit by the dig. Pretty smart play by her to go straight dig because I'm already down a shield, so it's not like I go down both shields. I do get a farm down though, which is kind of nice. And let's see what we do here. Does come in with the Magnezone. I'm just going to go for the bait. I mean, this is double super effective, so I don't know if she's going to take that gamble. And she plays it safe, which makes sense because she doesn't know what I have in the back end. And she throws Wild Charge before dipping, which is kind of nice because now we have the Cresselia. And this is where Trevenant came to Core Break. We get the shield, but not the end of the world in my opinion because we could just shield back and then actually land the Shadow Ball. And as long as I put this Cresselia... Oh, wait, no, never mind. Okay, I was going to say Ice Shard farm down territory, but Palasha throws on Charge Check priority, and unfortunately doesn't have the second move ready. So we end up overcoming a Shadow Magnezone lead, despite getting debuff on the Mirror Shot and some slow plays by me. So, like I said, team overall, pretty solid, pretty reliable. However, very, very weak to Lickitung. Whole team pretty much loses to Lickitung, so... What I have to do is really just chip this down. But this is where the power Shadow Sableye comes in. You'll see they're debuffed. And these foul plays really do quite a bit. I'm definitely going to still shield because I can grab a shield back from the Dragonair pretty easily. Or really even against anything else that might come in as a third Pokemon to soak up the energy. So I feel pretty good about it. And then I'm just going to throw another one before they get to the Power Whip. And I know I'll outpace this Dragonair to this move. So... Could potentially grab a shield or just do a ton of damage. They end up shielding, which I don't blame them for. But the energy, it might go somewhere. My Dugong's actually chunked a lot more than I thought. But they hard locked their Lantern. And we love to see this because Trevenant's going to thrive here. I actually end up shielding, which I don't remember if it was a good idea or not. But I think my whole thought process is they don't really have any super effective moves or even neutral moves to throw on my Trevenant from the Dragonair. So I can usually do pretty good here. Yeah, and this Dragonair's kind of low on health. I think I just go straight for the fast attack down. Yeah, I recognize I'm not going to get to any moves. And yeah, we take him out. Okay. Whiscash in the lead. This is a big reason why I ran Dugong in the lead, because if I run to Whiscash lead, I don't really want to safe swap a Sableye into Whiscash because I just get outpaced by a turn on their Scald. And they actually bring in Wigglytuff, which is much better for me because 1, I avoid this matchup with the Sableye, and 2, I could just line up the Trevenant against the Whiscash. So both are pretty fantastic scenarios for me. I think I even shield. Yeah, it's a pretty valuable shield because this Armor Voice pretty much takes me out. And then now I get the full Icy Wind down. Quite fantastic. Let's see if he shows his third or not. That'd be really nice for me. Doesn't show the third, but that's fine. I'm going to still throw this at the Whiscash just to debuff it and potentially get to another move. Or they force them to throw the energy, which is also fine with me. I have no idea what's in the back though. We'll see. And they have Mana Buzz. So we're in a pretty okay spot to begin with, but unfortunately this is the last thing I want to see because especially down a shield and down energy, the Sableye is going to struggle. I mean, when the Shadow Sableye is a safe swap, it struggles into a counter swap Mana Buzz, but the fact that they're ahead on energy and they're ahead on shields, they're running Foul Play too, which is kind of weird. Usually see Dark Pulse these days, slightly more energy efficient, and also Aerial Ace being a lower energy move. You could just bait with that easily rather than needing the lower NG Foul Play. But, you know, it's not a terrible move. Magical Leaf Victreebel. This was hot off the press. I think this is the Magical Leaf weekend. So, pretty much a week ago when I did these battles. And so, that was my first time seeing Magical Leaf. And it's a Zoomer. I kind of overfarm here a little bit, which is not great. So kind of a mistake on my end. I don't know if it actually makes a difference or not. No, it probably doesn't. Actually, yeah, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, because I didn't really fully cap on energy. They had the Skeldurge. Luckily, I get to a C-Bomb just for a little bit of chip damage, or maybe they lost track of energy, and they did. So that's really nice for me. It's definitely not over, though. These disarming voices are going to hurt for sure. And I have to shield this. I pretty much need to dump both Drill Run at the Skeldurge, which is why I'm maxed on energy. Not ideal. Probably could throw an Ice Shard there, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, because we're already capped on energy. Double Drill Run will knock him out. And there we went another positive set. 3-2. Not too bad. I can't really remember exactly what happened my losses, but one of them was a Mandibus. That was probably unavoidable. I don't remember the other one, if that was like a winnable and I misplayed it, or it's just a team comp difference. Like I said, you could pretty much counter swap Skarmory pretty easily, so that's what I do. And usually I probably swap out eventually, but it looks like this time I just went straight for it. I mean, I don't really want Trevenant on the Skarmory, but if they stay in Skarmory into the SABLYE, I could just win this matchup too, so it's actually not too bad. It's actually quite nice that I didn't have a direct answer to Shadow SABLYE, because now I can take out the Skarmory. And you can see, oh, this is why I threw Power Gem. I shouldn't have thrown Power Gem. Foul plays more damage, even in these neutral situations. It's fine, but, you know, Steel will also resist, so it's only neutral. And we get a good matchup after that, and they just quit out. So we don't know what the third is, but I'll take it. They clearly didn't have an answer to SABLYE. Probably just didn't have a good answer to Ghost in general. Opponent brings in Gligar. And they bring in the Skarmory. Like I said, you could counter swap this pretty easily. So I'm just going to shield and probably Shadow Call down. I might have to throw. No, I don't. Yeah, so that's actually really nice. You're going to see why. Because this damage from the Shadow SABLYE is quite a bit. I have a lot of energy stored. And they have to pretty much shield. And if they shield, they're just on even shields with a bad lead. But they have some energy at least, so they have something to take away with it. But yeah, and they just get countered pretty hard there. I've had a decent amount of games. I mean, SABLYE into Skarmory is not a hard counter matchup. It's really the lead in the back end. But you typically, there's no situation where you really want to come in Trevenant into Skarmory anyway. So as long as you maintain that switch advantage, you should be in a good spot. And I'm just going to go straight for the Shadow Call down. Give them as little farm as possible. But we do get the Shadow Ball off, actually, which is nice. I'm just going to throw it, and they just let it go. So, yeah, pretty good lead. Decent. You just have to play the mid-game well, and you're in a good spot. This is kind of a weird one. Tentacruel has the Acid Spray bait move potential. And honestly, the Shadow Claw Foul Play is not like doing a ton of damage to the Tentacruel. They do go for the Acid Spray, so a little unfortunate. Resisted Poison Jab still definitely adds up, especially to more frail Shadow SABLYE. I pretty much had to shield this because it was Scald, and like all my fighting for Switch here was useless. So we do get the alignment at least, and I really don't want this Guzzlord on the Trevenant, so that's why fighting for that alignment is really important. And then again, another Lantern in the back. I mean, it looks like choreographed, but honestly, there's just so much Lantern and Whiscash in this meta right now, and even Cresselia. I think Trevenant is actually very, very solid in Open Great League, at least, for GBL. Again, Tournament format, Show 6, a way different story. It's just way too hard to play. But in the blind format, not too bad. I'm just going to take this out before they have a chance to like catch with it later. And here comes the Guzzlord. Doesn't really matter too much what they throw. If I get debuffed, which I do, is what it is. But we debuff them, so it kind of evens out. And you can see damage is still quite immense. I just need to survive this move, and I should be able to. Yeah, just barely. I was actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Doombug. Quite a decent player, if you don't know who he is. He's running Magical Leaf, Victreebel, which, again, pretty new Pokemon, but doing quite a bit of damage, just even the fast attack damage. I'm already at half health. So, and then I swap over to my SABLYE. Going to have to bait the potential Power Gem. Might grab a shield? No, it does not, but that's okay. I think I have to throw two moves either way, so it's probably smarter to throw the Foul Play. This time I do go for the Power Gem because I can only get one move off. So might as well go for the harder hitting move. We do take out the Dugong, which is nice. But this does give the Victreebel potential farm down. They actually came in with the Skelders instead. Kind of interesting. And then I'm going to go for the Icy Wind. Just to kind of just slow this Skelders down a little bit. At this point, I just want them to throw the energy at my Dugong so that I don't come into a loaded Skelders. And I still have a shield, so I can shield the potential Shadow Ball still. Yeah, I know shielding it, which is definitely good for me. I'm thinking I need to go for the straight Shadow Claw down because I just don't think I could outpace the Skelders. But here we had the Sludge Bomb. So, well played from Doombug. Maybe I misplayed a little bit if I took out the Victreebel without tanking the Sludge Bomb. I don't know. The Skelders has some residual energy, so I don't think it was the easiest matchup. But maybe that was a better play. I honestly just did not know my Magical Leaf counts, especially to Sludge Bomb, but just in general. So that's also on me. I wasn't really even keeping track of the energy. Wigglytuff in the lead. Most go with Disarming Voice, so I personally like to shield it because if you don't shield it, they can shield and win switch by just charming you down and shielding your second Icy Wind. At this point, I think I'm just going to let it go. Ends up being another Disarming Voice, but with a debuff, actually came in quite handy. Able to survive and get off this Icy Wind. And now we want switch. And now we have a Shadow Victreebel all over again. I didn't really piece this together yet, but I should have realized that it was potentially a Bastion on the back. And that's exactly what it is. So we're going to try to go for some bait action. They don't fall for it, which is not ideal. Best time to not bait is not after failing a bait. Well, because they typically shield, but they didn't shield there either. So I have a little bit of luck, I guess, in this situation. I could potentially Shadow Call down, but there's just way too much health on the Bastiodon, so I had to commit for that energy. But I find that typically speaking, when I lose matchups, a lot of times it's just due to the very super bulky matchups, like Bastiodon. Lickitun's actually not too bad for this team, but we go 3-2 again. Charjabug was the earlier matchup. And so, yeah, 3 sets in a row. Climbed a decent amount with the team. Shout out SABLYE. A ton of fun to play, as you can see how strong it is. Just in those neutral matchups like Gligar, Skarmory, and just a lot of the meta picks. But anyway, hopefully you liked this video. Feel free to give it a shot in Great League this week if you like. And let me know how Shadow SABLYE treats you. It's won at least one regional tournament this year on Lao Jeff's team. So good enough for competitive play. Definitely good enough for GBL. Anyway, if you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share. Subscribe for future content. Hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye.